Hello, and welcome to Whispers of Time. Today we tell the story of a boy who grew up playing football barefoot, dreaming big in small streets, and believing that joy, creativity, and courage could change his life. This is the story of Neymar da Silva Santos Jr., known to the world as Neymar Jr., a footballer whose talent, passion, and journey turned him into one of the most exciting players of his generation. Neymar Jr. was born on February 5, 1992, in Mogi das Cruzes, a city in the state of São Paulo, Brazil. His father, Neymar Santos Sr., was a former footballer who never reached the highest level, but he understood the game deeply. His mother, Nadine Gonçalves, was loving, supportive, and deeply committed to her family. Neymar grew up in a modest household where money was limited but love and belief were abundant. From the moment Neymar could walk, football was part of his life. The ball was his best friend. He played in the streets, on dirt fields, and anywhere he could find space. Like many Brazilian children, football was more than a game. It was hope. Neymar's talent was obvious even as a child. He was fast, fearless, and creative. His dribbling style was joyful, unpredictable, and full of flair. People didn't just watch him play, they smiled while watching him. Neymar's father quickly realized that his son was special. He decided to dedicate his life to guiding Neymar's career, becoming not only his father, but also his mentor and manager. This decision was risky. It meant financial uncertainty and sacrifice. At times, the family struggled to pay bills. They moved often, chasing opportunities that could help Neymar grow. But they believed that talent, when guided with discipline and love, could change their future. At a young age, Neymar joined Santos FC, one of Brazil's most historic football clubs. Santos was the club where Pelé had once played, and it carried a legacy of beautiful football. Neymar was still a child, but he trained with intensity and joy far beyond his age. Coaches immediately noticed his extraordinary ability. He could dribble past defenders effortlessly, score from impossible angles, and play with a confidence that made him stand out. However, Neymar's journey was not without challenges. He was small, skinny, and often fouled aggressively by older players. Critics said he relied too much on tricks. Some said his style was too playful, too risky, too emotional. But Neymar never tried to change who he was. He believed football was an art, not just a competition. His style reflected the streets of Brazil: freedom, rhythm, and creativity. As a teenager, Neymar's fame in Brazil grew rapidly. Fans filled stadiums just to watch him play. Media attention followed him everywhere. Yet behind the smiles and skills, there was pressure. Expectations were enormous. People compared him to legends before he was even an adult. Every match felt like a test, every mistake magnified. But Neymar embraced the pressure. He played with joy, confidence, and courage, believing that football should always be fun. By the age of 17, Neymar made his professional debut for Santos. It didn't take long for the world to notice. Goals, assists, dribbles, everything came naturally to him. He helped Santos win titles and brought excitement back to Brazilian football. Fans called him the future of the Seleção, the heir to Brazil's greatest football legends. But fame came with challenges. Neymar had to grow up quickly. He learned how to deal with criticism, pressure, and responsibility. He learned that talent alone was not enough. Discipline, focus, and mental strength were just as important. With his father's guidance, Neymar worked hard to stay grounded while chasing his dreams. From a small boy playing barefoot to a teenage sensation lighting up Brazilian stadiums, Neymar's story was only just beginning. His journey showed that dreams born in humble places can grow into something extraordinary when fueled by passion, belief, and relentless effort. This was the beginning of Neymar Jr.'s incredible journey. A journey of talent, struggle, joy, and ambition that would soon take him from Brazil to the biggest stages in world football. As Neymar continued to grow at Santos FC, it became clear that Brazil was witnessing the rise of something extraordinary. He was no longer just a talented boy with flashy skills. He was becoming a leader, a match winner, and a symbol of hope for a nation that lived and breathed football. Every time Neymar stepped onto the pitch, stadiums filled with excitement. Fans didn't just want victories, they wanted magic, and Neymar delivered it again and again. Between 2009 and 2012, Neymar's performances for Santos were nothing short of sensational. He scored goals in every possible way: powerful shots, delicate finishes, solo runs, and moments of pure brilliance that left defenders helpless. His dribbling was fearless, his confidence unmatched, and his creativity limitless. Opponents tried everything to stop him, often resorting to harsh fouls, but Neymar kept getting back up, smiling, and playing with the same joy. In 2010, Neymar helped Santos win the Copa do Brasil, one of Brazil's most important competitions. His goals and assists were decisive, and the country began to see him not just as a promising talent, but as a national treasure. The media followed his every move. Headlines praised his flair, compared him to Brazilian legends, and debated whether he should move to Europe or stay and grow at home. Offers from the biggest clubs in the world soon arrived. Teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, and others wanted Neymar immediately. The money was massive, the spotlight tempting, but Neymar and his family made a bold decision. He would stay at Santos. They believed Neymar still needed time to mature, to lead, and to win important titles in Brazil. This choice earned him respect and showed that his journey was not just about money, but about growth and legacy. In 2011, Neymar reached a new level. He led Santos to victory in the Copa Libertadores, South America's most prestigious club tournament. This achievement was historic. Santos had not won the Libertadores since the days of Pelé, and now Neymar had brought the trophy back. His performances during the tournament were legendary. Goals, assists, confidence, and leadership beyond his years. That victory placed Neymar among the elite and confirmed that he was ready for the global stage. The same year, Neymar won the FIFA Puskás Award for the most beautiful goal of the year. A stunning solo run that showcased his balance, control, creativity, and courage. The world watched that goal again and again, realizing that Neymar wasn't just effective, he was artistic. Football for him was expression. It was emotion. It was joy. At the same time, Neymar's role with the Brazilian national team began to grow. Wearing the iconic yellow jersey came with enormous pressure. Brazil expected greatness. Neymar embraced it. He scored goals, created chances, and became the face of a new generation. Fans saw in him the spirit of Brazilian football, skillful, brave, and joyful. But with fame came criticism. Some said Neymar dived too much. Others said he focused too much on tricks. Critics questioned his maturity and discipline. Neymar heard the noise, but he didn't let it change who he was. He believed that football should never lose its soul. His response was always the same: let the football speak. Behind the scenes, Neymar worked harder than people realized. Training sessions were intense. He improved his finishing, decision-making, and physical strength. He learned how to handle pressure, how to lead teammates, and how to stay focused despite constant media attention. His father remained by his side, guiding him through difficult decisions and protecting him from distractions. By 2012, Neymar was one of the most famous footballers in the world, without even playing in Europe yet. Children copied his hairstyles. Fans wore his shirts. Stadiums sold out because of his name. Yet inside, Neymar was still that boy from Brazil who loved the ball, loved to smile, and loved to play with freedom. As his time at Santos neared its end, one question dominated world football. Where will Neymar go next? Europe was calling. The biggest stage awaited him. A new challenge, a new world, and a new level of pressure were about to test everything he had learned so far. Neymar had conquered Brazil. He had honored Santos's legacy. Now his journey was about to take a dramatic turn, from local hero to global superstar. In 2013, Neymar's long-awaited move to Europe finally became reality. After months of speculation, negotiations, and global media attention, Neymar signed for FC Barcelona, one of the greatest football clubs in history. The transfer marked the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with immense expectations, fierce competition, and the challenge of proving himself on the biggest stage in world football. Arriving in Barcelona was not easy. Neymar was leaving his comfort zone, his language, culture, and the familiar rhythm of Brazilian football. In Europe, the game was faster, more tactical, and physically demanding. Critics questioned whether Neymar's style would succeed against stronger defenders and disciplined systems. But Neymar welcomed the challenge. He didn't come to Europe to be protected. He came to grow, compete, and win. At Barcelona, Neymar joined forces with Lionel Messi, already considered one of the greatest players of all time. For many, playing alongside Messi could be intimidating. For Neymar, it was an opportunity to learn. He accepted a supporting role, understanding that greatness sometimes requires patience and humility. This decision showed maturity beyond his years. His first season was about adaptation. Neymar worked hard to understand Barcelona's playing philosophy: quick passing, intelligent movement, and collective responsibility. Gradually, he began to shine. Goals came, assists followed, and his confidence grew with every match. Fans at Camp Nou quickly embraced him, recognizing his effort, talent, and respect for the club's identity. The true explosion came when Neymar formed a legendary attacking trio with Messi and Luis Suarez, a partnership that would later be known as MSN. Their chemistry was extraordinary. Messi's vision, Suarez's intensity, and Neymar's creativity blended perfectly. Defenses across Europe struggled to contain them. Each player sacrificed individual glory for collective success, and that selflessness made the trio unstoppable. During the 2014-2015 season, Neymar reached a new level of brilliance. He scored crucial goals in the UEFA Champions League, including unforgettable performances in the knockout stages. In the final, Neymar found the net, helping Barcelona secure a historic treble: La Liga, Copa del Rey, and the Champions League. It was one of the greatest seasons in football history. That triumph changed everything. Neymar was no longer just a star. He was a champion of Europe. His celebrations showed emotion, gratitude, and relief. Years of pressure, criticism, and expectation had led to this moment. He had proven that his talent could succeed anywhere in the world. Yet despite the success, Neymar lived in Messi's shadow. Media debates often framed him as second best at his own club. While some players might have been comfortable with that role, Neymar felt something deeper inside him, a desire to lead, to be the main figure, to carry a team on his shoulders. This internal conflict would later shape his career decisions. Off the pitch, Neymar became a global icon. Sponsorships, commercials, and social media fame exploded. He was admired by millions, especially young fans who saw in him freedom and expression. But fame also brought criticism, scrutiny, and pressure. Every mistake was magnified, every injury questioned. Neymar learned that greatness came at a price. Physically, Neymar also faced new challenges. The European game was rougher. Defenders targeted him, fouled him, and tried to break his rhythm. Injuries began to appear, small at first, then more serious. Each setback tested his mental strength. Each return required patience and resilience. Still, Neymar kept fighting. He delivered moments of magic, unforgettable goals, and performances that reminded the world why he was special. His smile, creativity, and courage never disappeared, even in the toughest moments. As seasons passed, Neymar stood at a crossroads. He had achieved almost everything at Barcelona. Titles, fame, and respect were secured. But one question haunted him. Was he ready to step out of the shadow and become the main star of his own story? The answer would soon shock the football world. In 2017, the football world was shaken by one of the most shocking transfers in history. Neymar made the bold decision to leave FC Barcelona and join Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, for a record-breaking fee. The move was more than a transfer. It was a statement. Neymar was no longer content with being a supporting star. He wanted to lead, to build something new, and to prove that he could carry a team to glory as the main figure. From the moment Neymar arrived in Paris, expectations were enormous. PSG was a powerful club domestically, but its ultimate dream was clear: to win the UEFA Champions League. Neymar was brought in as the centerpiece of that dream. The spotlight shifted entirely onto him. Every match, every goal, every decision was analyzed with microscopic attention. His impact was immediate. Neymar dominated League One with his skill, vision, and creativity. Defenders struggled to contain him, and fans quickly fell in love with his flair and confidence. He scored spectacular goals, delivered countless assists, and transformed PSG's attack into one of the most feared in Europe. For a moment, it seemed like everything was going according to plan. However, the pressure was relentless. Unlike Barcelona, where responsibility was shared, PSG relied heavily on Neymar. When the team won, he was praised as a genius. When they lost, he was blamed as a failure. The Champions League in particular became a mental burden. Each elimination brought harsh criticism and questions about his leadership. Injuries became Neymar's greatest enemy. Season after season, physical setbacks struck at the worst possible moments, often just before or during the Champions League knockout stages. These injuries not only affected his rhythm, but also fueled narratives that he was unreliable or fragile. For Neymar, the frustration was deep. He wanted to fight on the pitch, not watch from the sidelines. Despite the challenges, Neymar never stopped trying. He worked tirelessly to recover, to return stronger, and to silence doubters. His performances in Europe, especially during the 2019-2020 Champions League, showed his resilience. Neymar led PSG to the Champions League final for the first time in the club's history. Though they fell short of lifting the trophy, his leadership and determination were undeniable. Off the pitch, Neymar faced constant criticism for his lifestyle, his celebrations, his emotions. Some misunderstood his joy as arrogance. Others saw his passion as weakness. Neymar, however, remained true to himself. He believed football was meant to be played with emotion, with freedom, and with heart. At the same time, Neymar's role with the Brazilian national team continued to evolve. He became a leader, a captain, and a symbol of hope. In international tournaments, Brazil depended on him not just for goals, but for inspiration. Victories were celebrated as national pride. Defeats felt personal. The weight of expectation was immense. Carrying a club's dreams and a nation's hopes is a heavy responsibility. Neymar felt it deeply, yet despite all the setbacks, he never walked away. He kept returning, kept fighting, kept believing. By the early 2020s, Neymar stood at a crossroads once again. His legacy was still being written. Titles alone would not define him. Impact, courage, and perseverance would. The world debated his place in football history, but Neymar knew one truth. His story was not finished. The final chapter of his journey would not be about proving critics wrong. It would be about understanding who he truly was as a footballer and as a man. As Neymar entered the later stages of his career, reflection became just as important as ambition. Years of brilliance, pain, joy, and criticism had shaped him into more than just a footballer. They had shaped him into a symbol of modern football itself. Neymar's journey was never simple, never quiet, and never ordinary. It was loud, emotional, creative, and deeply human. With the Brazilian national team, Neymar carried a weight that few players in history have known. Brazil does not simply want good players. It demands icons. Neymar embraced this responsibility. Through Copa America tournaments, World Cups, and countless qualifiers, he remained Brazil's central figure. He scored decisive goals, provided unforgettable moments, and climbed the ranks to become one of the highest goal scorers in Brazil's history. Every time he wore the yellow jersey, he played not just for himself, but for millions of fans who believed in him. The 2014 World Cup injury was one of the most painful moments of his career. Watching his country suffer defeat without him left scars that never fully healed. Yet that moment also revealed his importance. Brazil felt incomplete without Neymar. That realization strengthened his bond with the national team and deepened his sense of purpose. Later tournaments brought redemption. Neymar lifted the Copa America trophy, finally silencing doubts about his international success. Tears flowed not just from victory, but from relief. It was proof that perseverance mattered, that patience could lead to fulfillment. Beyond trophies and statistics, Neymar's greatest legacy lies in inspiration. He inspired a generation of young players to express themselves freely. In a football world increasingly driven by structure and discipline, Neymar reminded everyone that creativity still mattered. His dribbles, celebrations, and emotions told young players that it was okay to be different, to play with joy, and to be themselves. Of course, Neymar's career was never free from controversy. Critics focused on his falls, his injuries, his lifestyle. But those who truly understood football saw something deeper. A player who accepted the risks of creativity, who endured physical punishment, and who continued to smile despite relentless pressure. Neymar paid a price for entertaining the world. As time passed, discussions about Neymar's place in football history became more balanced. He may not be remembered as the most disciplined or the most consistent, but he will be remembered as one of the most gifted and expressive players of his generation. Few players could change the rhythm of a game the way Neymar did. Fewer still could bring emotion to millions with a single touch of the ball. In the end, Neymar's story is not about being perfect. It is about being brave enough to play with freedom in a demanding world. It is about chasing joy in a sport that often forgets why it exists. Neymar played football the way he lived, with passion, risk, emotion, and heart. When future generations look back, they will not just see goals and trophies. They will see moments. They will see smiles, tears, celebrations, and magic. They will see a boy from Brazil who dared to dream, dared to express himself, and dared to carry the weight of expectations without losing his love for the game. Neymar Jr.'s journey reminds us that football is more than winning. It is about feeling alive. And in that sense, Neymar did exactly what he was meant to do. He made the world feel football.